In this video, we're going to talk about how to be happier at work. And it starts with a story that I was actually on a Southwest flight. Now, they've had their fair share of issues lately, but there was a flight attendant who is straight up like a comedian. So he starts with, would anyone like to see a magic trick? Well, so would I, but instead I just have to show you this safety demonstration. He says, like, if this flight turns into a cruise, then here you can find your life jacket. Once in the water, the flashing bulb will alert the Coast Guard or the sharks to your precise location, and we'll see who gets there first. So he had a ton of stuff like this. I'm just trying to remember from my notes here. Oh, he says, if we lose cabin pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the ceiling. That probably won't happen on this flight. That's what Spirit Airlines is for. If you've ever flown Spirit, that's kind of up their alley. So this guy clearly wanted to be kind of like a stand-up comedian, and he made his job into that. Now, here's the interesting part, because I've done talks where I talk about like autonomy, or this idea of how by increasing your control over how you get your work done, and as a leader or as a manager, empowering people to get whatever the key results are, but in their own way. I was giving a talk once where this lady, she oversaw a bunch of school bus drivers. And I was like, could you let them choose what music they listen to? She's like, no, that's not allowed. That's a distraction. Like, well, what about how they maybe decorate their dashboard or their front seat? And she's like, no, that's not allowed either. And I'm like, how about, if as long as it's professional, what they're allowed to wear? And she's like, no, it has to be the exact uniform. And I was like, first of all, holy shit, no wonder we can't get any school bus drivers in this country. But eventually it's like, there's got to be something like, could it be how she greets the students? Again, assuming it's professional. When the students come onto the bus, she can, he or she can say, hey, good morning, and talk to them a little bit. And she's like, well, I guess maybe they could do that as long as it doesn't take too long. It's like, wow. But my point being that pretty much any role, you can shape it even just a little bit to control how you do the work, so that it's more personally fulfilling. And this is actually something called job crafting that I'm going to get into a little bit more detail. So job crafting, I'm going to do the technical definition from the University of Michigan Center for Positive Organizations and Management. Job crafting captures the active changes employees can make to their own job designs in ways that bring about numerous positive outcomes, including engagement, job satisfaction, resilience, and thriving. So job crafting is essentially reshaping or crafting your job so that you are happier while you do it. And it's not to say you just stop doing the things you're supposed to do, but it's saying that you can kind of shape it and mold it to be more fulfilling. And I'm going to talk to you, there's 3 types of job crafting, or 3 subcomponents. There's task, relational, and cognitive. So task crafting is where you kind of expand or reduce or shift the actual tasks or processes you do. So in the Southwest flight attendant example, right, he kind of still had federal regulations that said you have to communicate this exact information about the life jacket, about the oxygen mask, about whatever. But he kind of expanded it a little bit to say, well, I'm also going to be an entertainer and have fun with people. So you can think about the required tasks for your role and think about, are there certain ones that you're good at and you enjoy that you can do a little more of, certain ones that you aren't good at and you don't like that you can do a little bit less of, and kind of change how you go about the actual actions of the work, right? That's task crafting. Relational crafting is change how you relate to yourself or to your clients or customers. So again, let's use the Southwest guy example. Right? He changed how he relates to them from, hey, these are my customers flying on this flight, to this is my audience. Or from, hey, my job here is how I relate to them is as a server, right? Like a flight attendant, or as an entertainer. So again, slight shift there in how you relate to people. So, how do you relate to your coworkers? How do you relate to your clients? You can adjust that to become something that's a little bit more fulfilling, perhaps. So that's relational crafting. And then cognitive crafting is reframing how you think about or view your work. So again, Southwest example, this guy says, I am not here to serve, I'm an entertainer, or I am not a flight attendant, I'm a comedian. Whatever it is, you're kind of reframing your role and the significance of it. So again, maybe his thing's going there from, I have to just do this as part of my job, to I have an opportunity to do something that I really enjoy doing. And hell, maybe a few years from now, he'll just go be a stand-up comedian, but he got all this training from doing a job that he had to do anyway. So, right, maybe as someone who cuts hair, I don't know, you're going from reframing it from I just have to cut this person's hair that I want to help them be more confident and beautiful. Whatever works for you. But that's cognitive crafting. So those are the 3 different ways that you can actually apply job crafting. And if you think about this Southwest example, the guy next to me on the flight had a big smile on his face during this. And he said, I love seeing people who love their jobs. It's like, me too, man. So you deserve to be happy at work. And by applying job crafting, right, by reshaping your role and kind of expanding, reducing here, a little bit there, coloring still within the lines, but coloring a little bit differently, ultimately you can be happier at work. So I'll include some links to job crafting resources down below, and also maybe in a video here that I might link. But that's all for now. So I hope this video helps you to be a little bit happier at work, and I'll see you in the next video.